couple of hours' sleep before Gidge started in with the clanging. They'd had a dress rehearsal the night before. Their play still stunk, so they'd stayed really late at the theater trying to unstink it. They looked fried. They were both wearing plaid boxer shorts and baggy t-shirts for indie bands no one outside our family had ever heard of. Their faces were red and splotchy. Their hair was flat on one side and all Albert Einstein-y on the other. They looked like really big, really cool toddlers just waking up from their naps. "Huh?" they said at more or less exactly the same time. Mima and Pa do most things at more or less exactly the same time. It creeps strangers out. I didn't bother asking again. I figured I'd find out soon enough. Gidge was never one to hold back. I went to the kitchen. My parents shuffled along behind me. I peeked around the door and gasped, although maybe just in my head. Usually our kitchen's nothing fancy. Half our family meetings are about trying to find money to replace the counter where it's burnt, or fix the ceiling where it's leaking, or buy a fridge that actually keeps things on the cool side. But that day? Wow. HGTV or what? Silver balloons were tied to the backs of the kitchen chairs with twirly ribbons. The pot rack was covered in tiny twinkly lights. There was a white cloth on the table, 4 sparkly wine glasses on a sparkly tray, and a giant bottle of champagne with little teardrops of, I don't know, dew or something creeping down the sides. Everything smelled of lavender oil and a little ylang-ylang too. Gidge was big into saving the world, so no way she'd normally have balloons, let alone put the lights on if it wasn't totally pitch black out. The champagne was a retirement gift from her last class of students. She'd been saving it for something momentous. What could be momentous enough for twinkly lights and champagne at 10:30 in the morning? Gidge believed in celebrating all gifts from the universe, but I doubted even she'd go that crazy over a new fridge. A few seconds later, she swanned into the kitchen from the backyard. Even with the bad knees, Gidge tended to swan. She'd picked a bunch of white flowers from the garden. She put them in this brown clay vase Pa had made her when he was little. IMO, the vase looks exactly like a big, fresh pile of dog poo, but she liked it. She'd lined her eyes in smudgy black so they looked super bright, like green Smarties or baby peas or something. She was wearing a purple silk caftan, massive chandelier earrings, and a mitt full of rings. She placed the vase on the table and said, "Don't you just love lilies?" Pa was leaning against the doorframe. He moaned and went, "Sure, but not as much as I love sleep." "Oh, now, you'll have plenty of time to sleep later. Sit, sit, sit," she said, and we did. She put on this big smile, then looked at each of us, one at a time. She folded her hands on the table, closed her eyes, took a few deep breaths, then her face went all shiny. She said, "I called you here to announce that I'm starting an exciting new phase of my life." I slapped my hands over my mouth. It might have looked like I was trying not to barf, but it was actually happiness I was holding in. My toes started tapping like I was getting ready to blast off into space, which I kind of was. Ever since she'd retired, Gidge had been working on her fashion portfolio. Just the week before, she'd finished final drawings for her entire winter collection. It was aimed at older women and featured clothes as stylish, youthful, and, okay, now I'm trying not to barf, sexy as you are. She called the collection Now or Neverland, and it was, of course, fabulous. I'd helped her research companies online that might be interested in making her designs. We'd sent out a bunch of promotional packages. I figured she'd found a taker. I wished I'd finished bedazzling my skirt. I felt underdressed. This was a big deal. "Gidge?" I was so excited. Is it? She patted my hand. Her eyes twinkled.